Quinn! Sorry for that rude good morning from my little Quinny Poo down here. I don't know what she's squawking at, but it's okay. It's okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rosanna. I will be completely honest. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make today, so I'm waiting for some more people to join us because I have a couple of ideas. So, let's put that down just a little bit. Good morning, Chris. I know which project Tim is going to pick because I just know Miss Kim Evans, so she'll be happy. Hello, Anita. Hello, Beth. So yeah, I was thinking we could either make a necklace to go with the bracelets I made last night, or that we can do a whole little situation with these that were in that I sold in one of the live sales recently and do a little naughty situation with some leather. Good morning, Miranda. Good morning, Tammy. So yeah, like I said, I know what Kim will pick because she likes to be all about the leather. So what do the rest of you think? Leather or something to go with last night? That's the options. So these were the little like beads that were not only drilled twice here, but also had a hole in the middle. So there's a lot of options. If anybody has a particular preference. Like I said, we could also do something to go with the bracelets from last night, which, just in case you missed things, no, I haven't fixed this yet. I created this and that and some matching earrings last night on the live. Yes, I know there's a mistake on the bracelet. I haven't fixed it yet. But just as a little side note, the wire that's underneath all these pretty beads will definitely get reused just in another way once I take that off and finish it. Okay. Oh, good, Louisa. I'm so happy to hear that. Welcome. All right, ladies. Whoa. Okay, Beth. There we go. Thank you very much. Whew, somebody chimed in. Appreciate you for that. It's like, or maybe nobody wants to hang out with me this morning. So here's what I'm thinking, which we will have to see if it will work. I'm thinking that we go in like this, and then I bring the two pieces together in the middle for like a knot, a bead, and another knot, and then go back to this until I have like the length across my arm right here. If anybody's wondering about this, I have a very bad habit of picking at my hand or picking at things like this. It's very bad. It's a bad habit, but at least I don't do that on my face. So that's what I was thinking. But I was also thinking we could like add a pearl in the middle of all that because it could look kind of cool to go from this more like rustic straight. No, I made the ivy bracelet last night. What I was saying is that we could have made something to go with that. So I need to find my large hole pearls real quick. I just had one of my pearl boxes right here. Where did we go? So you might have to give me a a hot second so I can go see if I can find my large hole pearls. If not, I will find something else. So I have like red jasper and a whole bunch of large hole beads over here in my room. They're just not right there by me. Ooh, that could be pretty too. The hole just has to be large enough for the leather to go through. That's the problem. Okay, pearls, pearls, pearls. Or maybe we just do a knot in the middle. I'm not quite sure. Where are they? Oh, okay. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, I try to be at least a little more ready for this, but I am on 2 hours earlier than I normally am. Here's my pearl box, but I don't think this is the one. It's the large hole pearls in it. I think that's a different one. Yep, this is not the right pearl box. Okay, so, but I have these cute little acrylic beads we could use instead. I just need to make sure that, nope, that's too white to go with those. Okay. Quinn, do not start. Or continue. She had already started. Okay, I'm going to cut about, I don't know. I'm going to cut about this much, which I know tells all of us nothing. Okay. Per use. It's probably way too much, but again, if I have excess, it will be used for another piece of jewelry. So I think I'm going to leave enough room to do an adjustable at the end. I could like that. I think that would be cool. And then I need my knotting tube. This is not the one I like or normally use, but it'll work in a pinch. It's not much different. It just has that little bit of a curve to it, and I prefer my straight one. So we're going to start with a knot. So I'm going to zoom in. This is a barrel knot. So I'm going to leave about 5 inches at the end. And then I'm going to place my knotting tube off camera. Sorry. Right there. I'm going to grab the top strand of leather, bring it underneath the tube around once, kind of resituate that twice, 3 times. And if you'll notice, I'm going towards my left hand. That is way too zoomed in, Heather. I'm trying to go towards my left hand here so that when I need to pick up the leather and go through the tube bead, I can do so and still hold on to my knot. And then we will just alternate which strand of leather. Why did that just go to a 2-strand? Hold on. I don't mind a 2-strand. I just was not prepared for it this morning. Ooh, I do have some brass beads. Does brass go with these? I do have the brass beads from last night. Okay, let's try that again. Right after I get a drink. Okay, Anita, sounds good. Thank you very much, Rosanna. I'd appreciate that, but yes. I was using the 3-hole to make a lobster clamp and put jump rings on or something on the home side to make it. Yes, hold on just 1 second. Let me go up because I missed something. Okay. Louisa said, what size / kind of wire did you use last night? You mentioned a beadalon. I used soft flex last night. Like the stringing that I used, it was soft flex. I prefer soft flex. It is my go-to. I do have beadalon stringing wire. And the only reason I have it is because I was looking for like a bright silver and a gold option um for for illusion necklaces. Sorry, I completely spaced. That's the only thing I do. I have noticed that Beetlelon has more wire memory to it than Softflex does, meaning if it gets kinked in any way, shape, or form, it's not going to come out. You have a kink, and unless, I don't know, you might be able to hang like a little weight from it, but I've never been able to get a kink out. So, say that it got left out on my mat one night or something. If it gets caught on something like that, it's, even though I can go like that, see how the bow's always still there no matter what. That's what I mean by wire memory. Um, I now use either like silver or gold embroidery floss, or I did find out that Softlex has 925 sterling silver plated in their extreme line of stringing material, and also champagne one, which Rosanna is sending me so that I can test it out. 3-to-1 lobster class and putting making a video to layer. Yes, you could. That's how I did my, dang it, dragon skin agate one. It can go from I did the top layer of the necklace so that it can be removed, and swapped out with the other one. I had one that had granite beads in it, and then I had one that had rhodonite in it, and then the necklace itself, like the main strand, was asymmetrical. So one side had the granite and one side had the rhodonite. So like I said, you could detach it depending upon like what mood you were in. Plus, it really was a two-sided focal from the dragon skin agate, because one side it was more pink and browns and that shade family, but if you flipped it over on the other side, it had more of like the greens and the lighter pinks and stuff. And so I really felt like it was like a two double-sided, that's what, or double-sided focal, because of that. So I really kind of fell in love with dragon skin agate because of the differences and the banding and all of that. It's really pretty. I'm sorry, Chris. I hate when that happens. Okay, so back to the mat, and I will show you. I wish I had that necklace right here. I don't know. It's not. So, okay, back to the leather. Again, I'm going to leave about 5 inches. And I'm going to do the barrel knot. Again, pull it underneath, wrap it around once, twice, 3 times, as Mr. Lionel likes to sing. Go in through the back of the tube till your leather pops out, and then just pull that strand of leather up, and then you're going to tighten your knot. And again, my go-to like design like mantra when I'm doing the any leather knotting is taut, not tight. I don't like when people put things to like put the leather knots, at least these ones, too tight. It distorts the leather and doesn't look nice. So that's that's just my personal preference though. Okay. So then I'm going to pull down this as far as I can, and then I'm going to bring it back together in the center, not too tight. I wanted to have that little bit of the eye shape to it. I think that'll look really pretty. Hi, Sonia. Morning. Okay. And then I'm going to swap strands. So this is a longer one. Yes. I'm going to swap strands back and forth as I knot so that one doesn't end up way shorter than the other one. So again, let me show you just in case. Okay. So I just took the 2 strands of leather, put my barrel knot in the middle of them, pull the top one down and under. And I'm going to go around once, twice, 3 times, my platinum ladies. If you know, you know. I'm going to go in through the back of a knotting tube, grab onto my knot here, and then just pull the leather down. I just almost see how that almost just happened? I'm going to have to, it almost got caught up on the bead. Okay. So because I want this to have more of like the eye shape, I'm going to make sure that I don't tighten, like move the knot up to where it's too tight. I want it to sit more like that. And again, I'm going to just mostly roll this into shape so that the side with 3 nice are on the same side and the opposite side has like the 2 strands that are kind of at more of an angle rather than the straight. And then again, that's personal preference. If you prefer the look of this side of the knot, then you could leave it. If you prefer that straight, that's the way you would do it. But like I said, it's completely personal preference. All right, we're going to bring it back together. We're going to separate them again. Put on the next bead. Like I was saying, if I would have been able to find the pearls quickly, I think it would have looked really cool. I probably would have only done a 2-wrap barrel knot within the middle of the bracelet because I think that would look really cool to have pearls on either side of the knot. But if any of you guys bought any of these, you can do that. Send me pictures. I will probably find my pearls later and make another version. So see how it kind of looks like a little bow right in the middle? You could also just leave it just like this. And it would look, we might not need the other one. Look how pretty that is. Okay, I'm totally going to have to come up with another project on the fly because I like it just like this. Okay, well, let's do the last barrel knot. Oh, I just like the way that looks. Am I crazy or do you guys like it too? I like the way that it just sits and looks like a bow almost. Am I wrong? Should I keep going around? Or do you guys like it with just the two? All right, there's 7 of you. No, just kidding. I need help. Somebody tell me which way that I'm not crazy and that looks really pretty all by itself. Okay, thank you, Beth. Yeah, I and this is the bracelet that you could knock out so quickly for shows. And like I said, you could change it. You could put a large hole bronzer um on either side. You could use all the time. It's so pretty. That was easy peasy. Hi, DK. I hope you got my message. I messaged you on Square. That will get taken care of right as soon as I'm done with this. Morning, Tina. I didn't see you sneak in. Oh, I want this one up a little bit higher. Yep, I did the knot too far down. So the easiest way to undo barrel knots is just to pull the loops on the top down just enough so you could pull the leather out. And then the first one's the hardest to get the knot undone through because obviously once you take off the first one, you have more give in your leather. But I let go of this knot way too far away. So we're going to re-knot that because I like the way that looks. A lot. And again, this is completely personal preference. If you like it and want it to go all the way around your wrist, feel free to do so. I just happen to have come across that I like this better. Okay, let's not make sure I don't do the same thing with this knot that I did the last time. I'm gonna pull it up, scooch it into place. Yeah, I just really like that. It's so pretty. And then we're gonna pull top knot tight. Oh, you need to roll, not extending the lines on the top. I'm just trying to make it so that the crisscross knot isn't on top. Well, just in case you didn't, I might not have to come up with another project if I keep having knot issues. Oh my goodness. I had the bracelet facing that way specifically, like as far as like that's the double side. I should have flipped it back over before I did my last knot. That's what just happened right there. So I guess you guys were all curious as to why I took out that second knot. That's why. Come on. Yeah, when Randy pulled out that leather, uh, I knew that it was from Leather Cord USA. Okay, now you want to make sure that there's space to move it. There is. And then we're going to pull it taut. Okay, there. Now all the triple loop sides are facing up. Then what we're going to do next, as long as I can find it. Look at this beautiful mug that Rosanna sent me. It's so pretty. I love it. I love it. I live in Arizona, and so coffee would get cold way too quickly. in that kind of mug. So instead, I use my big mug for my coffee. Okay, so here we are. We're going to use GS Hypo. I prefer it as it dries. It doesn't dry the same way as super glue does. Super glue, when it dries hard. And so then if that ever becomes, like, if there's any kind of pressure put on it, simply like you just pull this down for the clasp, it can, oh my goodness gracious, Heather. It can crack. And when it cracks and flakes off, it also takes off the coloring of your leather. Whereas GS Hypo dries more like rubber cement. So, yes, dries more like rubber cement. So there's movement still, and you don't get that problem. The other thing you can do to keep that from happening, if I could ever figure out how people put their GS Hypo on without it getting stuck down at the bottom, that would be great. So the other reason that I like to use GS Hypo is because anytime I do knots like this, I like to put that nozzle down in the middle of the knot, and then I rub off any excess that I may end up having. But that helps it form a nicer type of knot. Also, I'm allergic to adhesive, and GS Hypo is the type of adhesive that doesn't bother me. So, like I said, you can clean off the excess just using your fingers, or I would not recommend using a paper towel or a napkin or a Q-tip, because you're going to leave behind fuzz from such items. Okay, so now we are going to go around to the back so that we can decide how we're going to close this off. Do we want to just, I think I'm going to end up macrameing it because I like the look of that. And I actually have plenty of leather that I could use to do just that. So do I take it down to one strand for the rest of the wrist, or do I just leave the two on? Decisions, decisions, decisions. That's going to be a lot to wrap with the leather. Oh, yes, it is a struggle to get back there. It can be, but yes. I was thinking a matching triple coin necklace would make a great companion. Ooh, it would, Louisa. Oh, great, DK. I'm glad you found us. Typically, I'm on 2 hours later. I'm just on this time slot because Rosanna is traveling home from a show she did this weekend. So she couldn't do her regularly scheduled hour. Okay, I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I was thinking, Beth. I think I'm going to take it down to one strand, because if I'm going to macrame 4 strands of leather, it's going to be too tight. And then I'm also going to show you guys. Oh, dang it. Well, I gave my son my thread burner because I have a rechargeable one. Okay. So if you're not a disorganized mess like me, if you do not like the look of this being a different color and more visual, You can go in with your thread burner or, well, you can do it with a lighter, but it's a lot more finicky. But yes, a thread burner is the way to go. And you're going to tan the leather. Don't burn it to a crisp. So you just kind of want to do this kind of a situation where you just tap each of them. Okay. And then going to go around to the back, grab this one of the leftover pieces of leather, make sure that I have both strands going through lined up. Okay. So they're not crisscross is what I mean. Okay, there's the first one. Also, because we are using this, oh, we can't do it with the leather because I'll have to, okay, I would have to cut it off and glue it, and then the knot would go. If I could remember Becky's version of doing this, I would use that. But this is also a part where you could see in. Ooh, I just almost had an avalanche. Oh, where is my cord? You could add some color into this. I happen to like the neutral of it, so I'm going to use some Brazilian waxed cord to do my knots with. It's a little bit darker brown, so it will help pull out the darker spots of the leather. So we are just going to grab our cording. If you have a tying station, that comes in handy. Sometimes I use, I have like a square that is four squares top stacked together, but I'm just going to do this in my hand. So you're going to take the one side and you're going to put it over the top of the middle strands of leather. Then you're going to take the other one, you're going to go over and then back down underneath, pull it up, and pull it taut. Remember, you need these to move, so you can't pull it too tight or they won't move. Then to do the other side, to finish up the knot, you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, except for in reverse. So you're going to put this over the top of the center pieces of leather. You're going to take your other cord over that and then up underneath the piece and out through the loop on the other side. And then you're going to pull it taut. If you ever have to put something down and come back to it later, the way to tell is this little bump, this little bump right here is on the side of the knot that you need to knot with further. So over the top pieces of leather, take the other side of the cording over, and then up under and through. I happen to like this version of wax cording because, where did I put it? Because I don't like the other one. It's got way too much wax on it. You have to pull it off using like a paper towel or a brown paper grocery bag, whereas this has the same kind of grip that the other cording has. It just doesn't have the sticky element to it. So this is it's pure linen. And I think this is the business name right here. Oh, we're backwards. Oh my goodness, are you serious? And I put down my remote someplace and don't know where it is. But I can post a link to this. I will do so after this in the comments so that you know where it is. And then you're just going to keep knotting you'll find once you get a hang of the square knot that it's much easier than you might have thought it to be, and you're not going to go through all of the like steps like as slowly as I just did. You're just going to get to a point where you can do it in your hand quicker than you can if it's down on a board, which is how I am. I also macrame before I ever started using it in my jewelry. So um so I'm more used to it. If you need to do the steps, by all means, please do until you get comfortable and can just knot quickly in your hand, and it doesn't have to be on a knotting station or anything like that, though you can if that's what you need to do. Okay. Also, I like to do 5 to 7 knots. It depends on what I'm using to knot with. This one is going to what just happened. Okay. Lost track of which side of the knot I was trying to do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As I was saying, how much you have on the back is up to you. This is what I found. I know some people like to do like a full inch or an inch and a half, and if that's the way you like to do it, by all means, stick with that. I have found that all that does is all of the extra knots take up room on your bracelet, and so then you're using less beads. You can't do pattern repeats as much because you have to account for that extra area on the back of the necklace or bracelet, sorry. Okay, there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that, you're going to cut it, leaving a little bit of section left over. And then you're going to take your thread burner or a lighter and melt that wax and push the knot into itself. Oh, this one's almost out. And then even once I've done that, because this is a natural fiber, I will go back in and put a dab of GS Hypo on the outside of it. You just need to make sure that it's a very little bit of glue. Otherwise, it's not going to slide. You're just going to put it on the very top of your knot there, and again there. And then it's good to go. Then you have to decide what you're going to use or how you want to do the end of the bracelet. So this has to be big enough to go up over the hand. See, it's still a little stiff. I only pulled that tight in order to have more space to knot with. This is where I like to put a double wrap barrel knot. So I like to go once, twice, come back under and around. See, this is why I have to pull tight, because you're not going to use a lot of the leather to put this little knot at the end, but to actually do the knot itself, it's much easier. It's easier when you have more space. And then, like I said, we're not going to have it anywhere near where it comes up. We're going to scooch it down to the end, pull it taut, and then you're good to go on that side. Then you're going to go to the other side and you're going to do the same thing. It's still the barrel knot that I did with you at the beginning. It's just I only wrap it 2 times rather than 3. And then on this one, we need to match up where the knot is on the other side of the bracelet. Oh, wait, I don't have this pulled out as much. I was like, there's no way it takes Okay, so we're still going to pull it down ever so slightly. Okay, and then tighten up, and then I will cut off the ends of my leather, which again, this is a personal preference. If you like just the knot at the end, cut it off, glue it, you're good to go. If you like to put beads on this part of the leather, feel free to do so. I like somewhere in the middle, so I like to do about a quarter of an inch, and then again, I will use my thread burner to tan the end like that so that I have it for next time. And then I do the same thing on the other one. And then I have plenty of room to do my knot. So, or to pull it out so that it fits over my hand. So there's that. Easy peasy. That ended up being much faster than what I thought it was going to be. So I have a question for you guys. I am working on this choker necklace, and my thought was this is like the tester version of the design. See, I have like the loop is all crocheted, so it's nice. And then I have it going all the way down with the pink. The center of this one has a little beaded loop right there which is where I would attach my focal. And then I have the same knots the other way. Then I crochet back the other way so there are loops on top. What do you guys think about this in two things? A, do you agree that I should do the lacy on both sides? And B, as this is a more complex crochet pattern, is this something you would want me to demo on my channel? Let me know your thoughts so I can do it. Yeah, exactly. Super glue makes a really weak spot in your leather, and it also breaks stretch cord. You should, even when you're using GS Hypo, you don't ever want to let the metal needle touch the stretch cord, because that can also cause it to break. Okay, so you would like to see this. Okay. Do I go ahead and do the loops up top as well, or do I just leave it like this on the bottom with it just at the bottom? The only thing that makes this a little bit more complex is that I used a form of a simple crochet to do it, but when I went through and did it, I went through the back loop of the chain stitch so that I had matching loops on the top and bottom of my single crochet thing. You like it just at the bottom? Okay. When I do the one when I do the one using the butterfly that Randy sent me, these will be little pearls instead of the pink crochet, and then that way it goes right there. And it'll stretch out. So that'll be pretty. Because I want to demo this, this is what I'm going to put on this one. It's a carved bone pendant, and that's what's going to be the focal on this one with the green thread. I want brown to do the other part. So, ooh, I could use this and not have to wait till I get the order I just placed this morning. Just at the bottom, did so. You crocheted 50 years ago, but not since then. Yes. Okay, just at the bottom, it has Victorian flair. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wanted it to be I wanted it to be dainty. I want it to be like pretty, to look like lace. That was the whole point of it. That's why I was asking if I should do it on the top and bottom to give it the lace look. But I know there is lace that does just this. And if I only do it on this one, I don't need to do the more complicated single crochet because it won't matter if you can see the top of this. So I think I might go ahead and finish this one off on the other side just so I can show a version of it. And then the one that I do with the butterfly, I'll just do a regular single crochet stitch, and it won't be as hard to follow. It'll be easy peasy. I promise that it's easy. This is just a chain stitch, and then you go through and you do a single crochet row and you're good to go. And I'll be very informative when I show it so that it's easier to follow along. But I didn't even think about using this because this has a lot of thread on it. That's the other reason that I like this wax board, because here's the bottom of the loop. So from here out is all wax board, and it's thinner and it's braided. So I really like this actually. Do you guys like the end being kind of chunky like this? What I did for the button on this one is I just took two bead caps. I found that I had to put a little bead in the middle of it to get them to stay together easier. And I put it on a ball head pin, and then I just did a wrapped loop. So this is actually just two bead caps facing together. I like to use things in ways that they may not have been intended originally. So that's how I came up with this clasp. And then it just goes through the lacy loop like that and holds. So it's just really simple, but I thought that by doing the clasp this way, that the lace, it would be just another loop in the lace technique. So I like it. All righty, you guys, I'm probably going to kick off early. It was a crazy week last week, and I have a lot to get caught up. You guys didn't get content for quite a while. Plus, like I said, I want to put the one together using the beautiful butterflies that Randy sent me. These were part of this morning's bead drop over at Randy's website. I'm gonna go get you guys. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get you her page. I just want to make sure. I don't know why it's not letting me bring it up. Hold on one second. I will go and get it from Messenger. Hello. Why is it not pulling up? Just a second. I'm sorry, guys, but I want to be able to show you Randy's thing, and I don't understand why it's not coming up. Hold on, I'll do it on my phone. I don't know. I had some weird thing pop up on my phone over the weekend, which was like a spam thing. And so I'm trying to, I'm, my my website is being very picky on the security because I jazzed it all up. Okay. Control copy. Now we're going to go to my live in the comments. And sorry if there's an echo. I will get in and out very quickly. Okay, there you go. Yes, I have to do that as well, Sonia. You're absolutely correct. So thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. That was on the list of things to do, Sonia. Anyways, you guys, is it going to show up? I do not understand why. Under. I don't know why it won't let me pull this up. Okay, there you go. That is the link to Randy's store or her website so that if you would like to get some of these beautiful, beautiful wooden focals, I recommend doing it. I also have a vision of hanging, doing a little something right at the bottom here, also with pearls, so that it will be very. So be on the lookout for that. Love you bunches. Missed you more than I can tell you. I was busy with my sister and my nieces, but it was still odd not to be more, um, what blue? Sonia, I'll call you after the live. Alrighty, have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. And as always, happy beading.